until the time itself became the question.
Jackson looking for Ewing. Tucker launches it. It's gone!
Can you put the ball in play, then shoot in just 1/10 of a second? Chicago says no way and filed a protest. And now the NBA must decide if the game is over. It's time for Patrick Ewing to step up into the league's MVP class. This season, he is the heart of the team's offense, the man the Knicks all look for to score. It's the same role Michael Jordan has always played for the Chicago Bulls, and this season is no different. He leads the league in the suspension of time and disbelief. The Bulls beat the Knicks in last year's playoffs, but both coaches are gone now, and new stars are emerging. Names like Strickland and Wilkins, Pippen and Grant. These teams are closely matched, and today they meet again. So watch carefully. This game, too, may be won or lost in 1/10 of a second. The blink of an eye. For the 108th consecutive NBA event, Chicago Stadium is a sellout as the Chicago Bulls play host this afternoon to the New York Knicks. And we welcome you to the windy city of Chicago, everyone, for this afternoon's Game 2 of the NBA doubleheader. I'm Greg Gumbel. You know all about the controversy surrounding Trent Tucker's last-second shot. That will be for the commissioner's office to decide. I'm joined this afternoon by Quinn Buckner. This is the rematch, and that's what we're concerned about. And leading these teams in today are two genuine MVP candidates. One of them, Patrick Ewing, a newcomer to the ranks this year. The other one, a perennial favorite in Michael Jordan.
Yeah, well, we do have a newcomer. Patrick Ewing has been playing outstanding basketball. He's put on some upper body strength, which I think has really helped him. He's got a coaching change that's helped him relax, and I think he's one of the MVP candidates for sure. On the other hand, you have Michael Jordan. Everybody knows about Michael. This year, he struggled in the New York game that you talked about earlier, but what he did the next game was he made 7 of 11 three-pointers against Golden State. Struggle against Atlanta. Michael knows this is a chance to avenge the loss that they had in New York.
It'll be a noisy crowd today. Good matchups. Jordan against Ewing. Rookie coaches Stu Jackson against Phil Jackson. And the Chicago Bulls against the New York Knicks. And we'll have the starting lineups and the opening tip from Chicago Stadium when we continue in just a moment.
CBS Sports coverage of the National Basketball Association is sponsored by Miller Lite. America's favorite light beer brings you the Miller Lite All-Star Super Bowl game. The companies of the Prudential. Come to the Prudential and build your future on the rock. And by today's Chevrolet, who invite you to see why nobody's winning like the heartbeat of America.
Back at a very pumped and excited Chicago Stadium. Here are the starting lineups for this afternoon. First for the New York Knicks, Johnny Newman and Charles Oakley get the nod at the starting forward spots, with Gerald Wilkins and Mark Jackson in the backcourt and Patrick Ewing in the middle. And the Knicks are coached by first-year coach Stu Jackson, the last 2 years an assistant, and moved up to replace Rick Pitino. The Bulls will start Scottie Pippen and Horace Grant at forward, Michael Jordan and John Paxson in the backcourt, and Bill Cartwright, the ex-New York Knick, is in the middle. And the Bulls are coached by a man who was the assistant coach last year, Phil Jackson. Bulls come in at 25-13, the Knicks at 26-12. The officials for today's game: Jess Kersey, Bennett Salvatore, Bob Delaney. And right now is about as quiet as it's going to be here all afternoon.
Well, it really is, Greg. But I tell you what I expect that we'll see this afternoon with the coaching changes. What you'll see on the part of the New York Knicks is the focus on that young man there, Patrick Ewing, in terms of a half-court offense. They weren't that good at it last year. This year they've improved. On the other side, Michael Jordan was the focus very much so since he's been in Chicago. What the Bulls will do now is spread the offense out a great deal more. Scottie Pippen has really benefited from that.
Bob Delaney will toss it at center court, and the tip goes to the Knicks and Mark Jackson. And Johnny Newman will take the three-pointer. And the rebound is off to Jordan. Jordan down the lane and dishes off to Cartright.
That was a great play by Michael, but that's one of the things that he didn't do in the other game, Greg. He didn't take the ball to the basket, settle for the jump shot. This way, going to the basket, he gets everybody involved in the game.
Quick pass inside is stolen by Pippen. Gerald Wilkins draws the starting assignment to guard him again, and the dish to Cartwright down the lane, loses the handle, regains, and scores. Bulls off to a quick 4-0 lead. Chicago with a 14-game home winning streak on the line, and they've won 2 straight. Ewing goes back outside, and Jackson will look to get it back to Ewing and can't do it. Jackson off the pick. And Jordan with his second rebound. John Paxson, who has started every game for Chicago at the point guard slot this year.
Well, when you ask Michael about the starting guards, Michael was more comfortable with Paxson because Paxson knows where Michael needs the basketball.
Three-pointer for Michael Jordan. He set a team record with 7 of those against Golden State on Thursday night.
Well, that'll make you come out and guard him, which will open up his inside game.
Jordan with the steal, and it's showtime.
He's fired up, Greg. He's ready to go with it. He's got his team involved in this one.
And Stu Jackson wants a 20-second timeout. Phil Jackson is ecstatic.
Well, he should be. If you get your defense coming out and being aggressive, you got a great chance to get some things going, getting the fans involved. And Michael's got great anticipation. You see, he caught Patrick by hiding a little bit. He comes out, and he's taking a look because he's going to show you, I'm coming at you all game with style.
To recap Monday afternoon, the game that the Chicago Bulls lost on that last 1/10 of a second Trent Tucker three-pointer. Michael Jordan shot just 9 of 24 from the field and scored 26 points. The New York Knicks were successful in keeping Jordan outside, and he wasn't able to drive, and his outside shot was off.
Well, Greg, I think a part of that, Michael won't bring it up. Michael's had a bruised knee, and that won't allow him to go in and dunk with as much force. But I think after having that bad game and knowing this game is on TV, he's going to make up for lost time.
7 seconds on the shot clock. Newman driving the lane and draws the foul. Bulls jumping off to the 9-0 lead. We have 9:50 to play, first quarter.
Now, Greg, you recall when we were looking at some film of the game they played in New York, that the Bulls got off to a great start in that game as well. And they got a little reluctant to play aggressively, and it came back to haunt them. So that's one thing when I was talking to Craig Hodges, the Bulls have to be concerned about.
Johnny Newman hitting at a 79% rate from the free throw line this year, hits 2 of 2, and gets the first 2 points on the board for New York. Mark Jackson on John Paxson. And here's Jordan. Jackson will help with the double team. Doesn't matter.
You can see a determined look on his face, Greg. The game again, Michael wants to get it down near the basket. He is just so tough to guard. And Gerald Wilkins, who's played him as well as anybody, knows he's got to make Michael get the ball out around the three-point line.
Chicago perfect from the field. Michael Jordan with 7 of the Bulls' 11 points. Newman loses, regains. Ewing will take the long one. Front rim, no. Gerald Wilkins rebounds and goes back up. And the whistle blows as Oakley tried the foul.
Now on Bill Cartwright, his first, team second, Oakley.
Bill Cartwright draws his first and the second team foul on Chicago. Bill Cartwright, in his 11th season, his second with the Bulls. The first 9 he played with the New York Knicks.
Well, he played, and the trade was for this man that's shooting the free throw, Oakley. But the thing for Bill Cartwright, he's got to feel, well, I've taught a lot of that stuff to Patrick Ewing that has come back to haunt me a little bit. I'm not sure if I should have partied with all that knowledge.
These two guys in the middle are no strangers. Bulls with an 11-3 lead and 9 minutes to play in the first quarter. Jordan gives kind of an inkling at a three-pointer.
The person that really has to play well, I think, for the Bulls is the man with the ball now, Scottie Pippen. He's got great tools starting to come into his own.
Beautiful drive. He did everything right. The ball just didn't fall, and here comes Johnny Newman. Knicks do not look for the three as often as they did last year, and there's an illegal defense call against the Bulls.
One of the things I think will get the Knicks in some trouble is they've got to be careful who gets the ball into Patrick Ewing. If you try it on Scottie Pippen's side, he has such long arms that he makes that target of Patrick Ewing small, because Scottie can just get around. So the Knicks need to be concerned about that and try to let Jackson or Joe Wilkins throw the ball inside the Patrick.
Oakley posting up down low and has it, and turns on his man and hits. Nice move by Charles Oakley.
A little unsuspected offense from Charles.
3 points for Oakley, 11-5 Chicago lead. 8:10 to play first quarter. Cartright posting up, turns on Ewing and will try the lane. Finds the way block. Paxson, this is a 2. And Ewing comes down with it, and here come the Knicks, led by Mark Jackson. Plenty of talk about the New York guard as Ewing tries to go over the middle and is called for the travel.
Well, he got called for traveling, but Michael Jordan made a great play from coming from the blind side. Patrick never saw him. Michael got a hand on the ball, and Patrick just lost and got called with the turnover.
One of the things you will see in the new and improved Patrick Ewing is a variety of shots and moves. That one knocked out of bounds, and the Bulls retained possession.
Well, you know, we talked to him about that, and Patrick felt that he needed to get some other offensive tools. Everybody had him pegged for going to the inside. He's now developed a hook both ways, as well as be able to shoot the ball from the baseline as a turnaround.
Bill Cartwright doesn't do badly either. 6 for Cartwright, 13-5 Chicago. Johnny Newman open for a moment. His shot is long, and Jordan way up for the rebound. Paxson inside. Grant. His first attempt is no good. Tapped up, and a loose ball foul is on Bill Cartwright.
Timeout, Chicago.
And we have a timeout on the floor with 6 minutes, 54 seconds to play. First quarter, Chicago off to the early lead. They lead at 13-5. Welcome back to Chicago. Game 2 of our NBA doubleheader on CBS today. The Lakers defeated Detroit earlier this afternoon, 107-97. And by virtue of the Detroit loss, the Chicago Bulls, by percentage points, now are atop the Central Division. And, of course, can improve that standing with a victory here this afternoon. And today, between Phil Jackson of the Chicago Bulls and Stu Jackson of the New York Knicks, you have a couple of coaches vying for the all-star coaching slot in the conference.
Well, they really are, Greg. And the team that I thought that looked like they were going to have the toughest shape were the New York Knicks, because they play Chicago, the Lakers, Utah, and Denver. Chicago has the best shot. They play New York and Detroit. They play at Philly and New Jersey, and I think Detroit is going to have a tough time of it now. They do play Phoenix and Chicago, but I think the loss today may put them in a tough spot.
Bill Cartwright with 2 fouls has taken a seat on the bench, and number 32, Will Perdue, the 7-footer out of Vanderbilt in his second year, is in. Johnny Newman fakes underneath. No, that won't count. It's travel.
You know, that's a little bit of intimidation by Michael on that one. That time Johnny Newman had Michael beat, and Newman tried to fake, and Michael didn't go for it.
If you're just joining us, the Bulls hit their first 5 shots from the floor, jumped off to a 9-0 lead, and Michael Jordan with 7 points and all 3 Chicago rebounds. Down low, Newman with the steal. Gerald Wilkins, his first shot. Around and out and back in.
Well, the Bulls got themselves in a little bit of bind, obviously, with Bill Cartwright out of the game, Greg, because now they don't have anybody inside with the Bulls, which means Michael or Scottie Pippen have to pick up the offensive end. Jordan. I suggest to you, Michael is up to the task.
9 for Jordan, 15-7 Bulls. You see the clock as we approach 5:55 to play in the first. Ewing in the lane, triple team. Loses it, Jordan has it. Paxson leads the charge, and Scottie Pippen slows it down. Jordan for 3. 12 for Jordan. posting up Paxson down low, and now Wilkins out of the side. That's a two-pointer for Gerald Wilkins, and it's 18-9.
Gerald doing just as I talked to him about it at the top of the game. I said, Gerald, how do you play Michael? He said the one thing you have to do to him is make him play defense. So you see right away, Gerald wants to make some shots to bring Michael out.
Will Perdue, follows his own shot and goes up again and overshoots.
Now, Purdue's got to be careful not to let the fans get him overexcited about being in this game. It's tough enough playing against Patrick. Purdue's got to take his time because they'll get the ball to him.
Wilkins throws up the air ball, the long outlet to Scottie Pippen. Far side Jordan, beautiful pass from Perdue, and that one's batted away by Johnny Newman. Wilkins for Newman. And a beautiful lay-in by Johnny Newman.
Great ball movement by the Knicks that time. Newman thought about dunking it wisely, just got the ball in the basket. But Will Perdue on the other end has got to dunk the basketball. You can't let somebody 6'4" block the shot when you're 6'10".
Scottie Pippen in a bind comes back outside. This is Grant. Over the backboard, and the ball goes over to New York. 3:59 to play, first quarter. The Bulls lead it by 7.
And you see the Knicks are starting to creep back into the game. You know, a little bit of the excitement on the part of the Knicks has settled down. They're starting to get into the rhythm. They have a good opportunity to get into the lead here again because you have Will Perdue guarding Patrick Ewing. I'd have to say that advantage clearly goes to the Knicks.
Oakley's pass nearly stolen. Newman comes back into the lane. Ewing will put it up. And too long. And Jordan with another rebound. That's 4 for Michael Jordan. Three-pointer. Two nights ago against Atlanta, Michael Jordan had 2 points in the first half, then lit up the scoreboard for 34 in the second. No such problems getting started here. Stu Jackson wants a timeout for New York. And we have 3 minutes and 18 seconds to play in the first half. It's a Michael Jordan show and a 21-11 Chicago lead.
Understanding that Will Perdue has got trouble guarding Patrick Ewing, the Bulls have started to run 3 people in at him from there. Perdue has got him, and then Scottie Pippen comes over. That's what you have to do against a guy of Patrick Ewing's ability, and that's what the Bulls have started to do. Just run people at him. You see the Bulls come up with a steal.
Patrick Ewing hit the Bulls on Monday with 33 points, 12 rebounds, and 8 blocked shots. And in a loss to Dallas just a few nights ago, had 38 points and 15 rebounds. Those are becoming the norm for Ewing rather than the exception.
Well, when we talked to Stu Jackson about it, he said Patrick just took over the game against Dallas. Dallas just made so many tough shots that there was no way the Knicks could get back in the game.
Ewing's follow of Jackson's miss is no good, but Oakley is there. Oakley has 5. A long pass to Pippen, and a terrific save. No. Good try by Scottie Pippen under the basket, but there's this thing called momentum that takes you out of bounds.
Well, I would, in the NFL, they would ask you whether you'd come down and bound if he wasn't nudged. I thought he got nudged that time, but the official made the call, and then it was a good call.
Eddie Lee Wilkins and Rod Strickland will come in on the next whistle, not this one.
This is another thing the Bulls are starting to do a bit more of, and that's get out, put a little more pressure on individuals in the full court basis, just trying to take up some time.
We have 2:45 to play, first quarter. 21-13 Knicks. Jackson to the baseline, on Perdue and lays it home.
Will Perdue cannot allow that to happen. You got a guy 6'2", you've got to stop that shot. That time Perdue backed off instead of establishing his own defensive position.
Jackson looking to post up down low. Kept away by Gerald Wilkins. Jordan wanted the foul and didn't get it. Pippen with the steal, and Jordan inside. Almost went. Perdue follows and draws the foul. If you're talking about reaction time, there's Michael Jordan voicing his displeasure with the official and then turning around to take the pass from Scottie Pippen.
Well, the offense will always make you get back. Michael had trouble handling the pass, and you see Grant tries to get it, but this is Will Perdue staying after it. I mean, the young man has struggled through the game. The fans have been on him. That time he gave a good head fake, got a foul on Patrick Ewing, which I think you have to do. You have to expose Patrick to a foul. That time Perdue did a good job with the ball fake.
Purdue only scoring 3 points a game and shooting 62% from the free throw line, gets 1 of 2 and a round of applause, and it's 22-15 Chicago.
That used to be like me when I made free throws. They'd get a round of applause because I didn't make a lot of those.
It was all your family too. Gerald Wilkins across the lane, pumps twice, and then dishes to Eddie Lee Wilkins.
That was a great find right there. Gerald Wilkins looked like he was about to get 3 seconds. Somehow got that pass around. I don't know how you did that one.
And despite that terrific start, the Knicks are now within 5, and the foul is on Charles Oakley. That's number 1 on Oakley, number 2 on the Knicks.
Checking in, Trent Tucker.
And number 6, Trent Tucker, getting the expected round of boos. He, of course, of the game-winning three-pointer Monday afternoon at Madison Square Garden in New York.
Trent not only can shoot the three-pointer, I think he's done a good job working on the defensive end.
Long arms of Scottie Pippen corral that rebound.
I want to tell you, Greg, that was more than long arms. That was just great ability.
Perdue to the baseline, draws the foul, and the shot doesn't go, and he'll shoot 2.
Smart play by Perdue. You've got a guy coming off the bench. You get a chance to get him in foul trouble. You know, you don't have Patrick out. He's not such a menacing presence. Eddie Lee Wilkins is a shorter player. Perdue is comfortable playing down there on the block. He's smart to take it after him.
Perdue now 2 out of 3 from the free throw line.
This is the future for the Bulls, right there. B.J. Armstrong. John Paxson does an outstanding job shooting the basketball. There's no question about his ability. But B.J. Armstrong, the guard from Iowa, can shoot the ball. He can play make. He is definitely the future, and he can help Michael Jordan take some of the pressure off of Jordan.
Newman for Wilkins, out of bounds for Chicago. We were talking with B.J. before the game, and he's kind of not excited about anything until you happen to mention Iowa's victory over Michigan yesterday.
Yeah, they were struggling with the Hawkeyes of Iowa, so B.J. was real pleased to see that they got a victory.
B.J. Armstrong, Iowa's all-time assist leader. This is Jordan. And Oakley hands off for Rod Strickland.
Boy, Rod Strickland is a player that can do anything you want to do with the basketball. One of the things that's starting to happen with him, though, Greg, is he's starting to put a little pressure on Mark Jackson as you see Eddie Lee Wilkins make that shot. And that's something that the Knicks organization is starting to monitor, because both of them are such good players that it makes them aware that each other is playing, and they try to compete against each other.
Down to 40 seconds for the quarter. Jordan with Tucker on him. Spins inside, doesn't go. Perdue follows and got it. 5 for Perdue, 26-19 Bulls.
You know, you see a little bit of the benefit of what happens when people are patient with you, as the Knicks were with Kenny Walker. But Will Perdue was a guy that last year didn't get a lot of time. Phil Jackson as well as Jerry Krause have decided, let's give the kid some time to play. We expect that he'll be our center in the future. And you see the result of that here in the first half.
Jerry Krause, man in charge of basketball operations with the Bulls. Strickland to the far side. Newman fakes the shot, drives the lane, draws the foul. And the Knicks have now hit their last 6 shots from the field. Kenny Walker into the lineup.
Kenny Skywalker into the lineup.
The defending slam dunk champion, who will not have to contend with a challenge from Michael Jordan this year.
Well, Michael made a decision, and I'm sure it's a wise one. His knees have been bothering him. Decided not to get involved in the slam dunk championship. The Bulls put in Scottie Pippen. That's no chump in that thing, I'll tell you that.
Final seconds of the first quarter. Jordan off to the side. Armstrong at the buzzer. 4/10 of a second left, and that'll do it. Good quarter for the hometown fans. Bulls in general and for Michael Jordan in particular. The Bulls lead at 28-22, and we'll have more from Chicago Stadium in just a moment.
CBS Sports coverage of the National Basketball Association is sponsored by Jeep, the official vehicles of the NBA. Visa, accepted at nearly 7 million places worldwide. Visa, it's everywhere you want to be. And by the good time, great taste of McDonald's.
Sun shining down on Chicago, Illinois this afternoon as we begin the second period here at the stadium. The Bulls leading the Knicks by a score of 28-22, led by that man, Michael Jordan. We build this as Jordan versus Ewing, and Michael Jordan has 15 points so far. Patrick Ewing is scoreless.
Well, Michael came out with real intent to score. The thing that helps Michael is he gets the ball in the middle of the court, and it's hard to get defense at him as opposed to Patrick, who's down on the block. You run 2 or 3 people at him.
Pippen, top of the key. Front rim, no. Eddie Wilkins rebounds. The Knicks with Strickland and Tucker at the guards. Walker, Eddie Wilkins, and Johnny Newman up front. This is Strickland. Tucker. Shot clock is at 8. Back on top, Strickland fakes the 3 and has batted away by B.J. Armstrong. Strickland with the long shot. Tucker slips going for it, and here comes Jordan. And that'll be a foul on Rod Strickland.
So Rod had to take that shot on the other end, but the thing you can't do is come back as a player from a substitution standpoint. Rod Strickland or none of the substitutes can afford to have turnovers or bad fouls like the one that Rod Strickland just committed. Now the Bulls, one of the things that they've always been concerned about is their bench. And right now they have 2 players that have been a part of that bench, and having Will Perdue and B.J. Armstrong, and so far have gotten good production out of both players.
This is Armstrong. 2-pointer no, and Kenny Sky Walker goes up. Strickland outside, and Tucker on the drive. Good move by Tucker, didn't fall, loose ball. And Pippen comes out of the pack, almost stolen, but he retains possession. Grant fouled on the way up. Foul is on Kenny Walker, and that's his first.
Kenny Walker.
One of the reasons for that slipping back and forth may be that, of course, Chicago Stadium is also home to the Chicago Blackhawks, and underneath this wood floor is some very cold ice, as we will begin to determine around the third quarter. So,
yeah, Greg.
Body temperature will go down.
It sure will.
Eddie Wilkins.
So you've got Patrick still on the bench there, and what Stu Jackson has done, and it's a good choice. Patrick has struggled a little bit, so what you do is let him settle down a little bit. Just hope that the substitutes or the bench role players for the Knicks can just keep him close. Then you get Patrick back into his rhythm and come back, and then you got a good shot at the game. And they're not out of it by any stretch of the imagination.
Horace Grant with his first point of the game, and it's 29-22 Chicago. Eddie Lee Wilkins looking to post up on Perdue and got inside and draws the foul as Grant came over to help out.
Well, Will Perdue, for one thing, Greg, you can't let anybody get the ball that close on the block or that close to the basket. That time Perdue was on the back of Eddie Lee Wilkins, and Grant had to come and help out. That's one of the things that the Bulls have worked very hard on with Will Perdue is defensive position.
Eddie Lee Wilkins goes 6'10 and a half, 220. And Will Perdue is at 7 feet, 240. And into the game, number 34, Stacey King, the fine rookie out of Oklahoma.
This lineup for the Bulls is the lineup that you can look for in the next 2 years to be their starting lineup. The one person that really has to come along for them to be successful this year to be counted on is Stacey King, the young player from Oklahoma University. Great versatility, left-handed, can really rebound. He's got to bring it for the Bulls to be successful.
Good pass to Perdue from Michael Jordan. And not a bad spin inside by Perdue either.
Well, the Bulls have seen flashes of that, Greg. That's why they've not lost confidence in Will Perdue, because they know he's capable of those kind of plays.
Strickland's 3 is no good. Wilkins rebounds and soars to the hoop.
Whoa.
Back in a hurry, Jordan for 3.
Greg, that keep you in the game right there. You got Michael coming back on the other end, making 3-pointers like that.
That's 4 for the game for him. Remember, he set a team record with 7 Thursday night. Eddie Wilkins put it on the floor and lost it. And Pippen goes down to a knee before he recovers. And here come the Bulls. Armstrong down the lane.
That's the kind of play that B.J. Armstrong is capable of making. Along with making that, he could have passed it to Michael.
Stu Jackson wants time to talk about it. 9:11 to play, and the Bulls have opened up an 11-point lead.
49ers, Broncos, Super Bowl 24.
Unless you're new to the planet, you know the next Sunday is Super Bowl Sunday. And here on CBS Sports, it all gets started with the Super Bowl Today show beginning at 3 p.m. Eastern Time. You won't want to miss this pregame spectacular. Brent Musburger, Irv Cross, Will McDonough, Dick Butkus, Terry Bradshaw, Kenny Stabler, Dan Fouts, Mike Ditka. It includes a review of the season, a look back at the 80s, and a look at how New Orleans is preparing for its biggest event of the year, featuring Bernard Goldberg of 48 Hours. And at 5 p.m., the defending champion 49ers and their player of the year, Joe Montana, take on John Elway and the Denver Broncos. Super Bowl 24. That's next Sunday. Michael Jordan carrying a fair share of the load, as he is wont to do on occasion for the Chicago Bulls. Under 9 minutes to play now. First half, Patrick Ewing back in good position right off the bat.
Got good position coming in off the bench and did just what I thought they would do, did Stu Jackson and the Knicks. Get Patrick settled down, get him back in the game, and get him the ball in position to score. That time, Cartwright let Patrick get it way too low.
Pippen up top. Bill Cartwright back in the game for Purdue, and Scottie Pippen sneaks inside.
Well, he not only snuck inside, but he caught Patrick because Patrick thought that Scottie was going to dunk right-handed, and Scottie moved it at the last minute to dunk left-handed.
Will Purdue back on the bench after doing a fine job for Phil Jackson with 7 points. Wilkins off the nice feed from Ewing. And it's 38-29, Chicago. 8 points for Gerald Wilkins. Craig Hodges with the ball in the game for the first time this afternoon. Looks to Cartwright, who goes to work on Ewing. Left-handed hook. And Kenny Walker up high for the board. Strickland changes direction, scoops off the board, and it almost went. Ewing is there for the tap-in.
Well, the guy that really gets out and gets it done as far as getting up and down was Rod Strickland, but you saw Patrick's capability to run up and down the court and give it back.
First block shot of the game. The feed for Kenny Walker from Rod Strickland.
Well, this is what you want your bench to do. They have to, for any team, be able to at least keep you in the game. If they can cut into the lead, that helps you that much more. You see that the Knicks bench is doing a great job of cutting into the lead.
And the whistle blows out front. That will be on Gerald Wilkins.
This is what makes Patrick a menacing presence. You see, well, you see the little shove just before that, but he's able to get so much range. He can get to the ball. He was a full step and a half and still able to get over the block to shot. Now, the thing that's important about that is not only do you remember the block shot, but when you come in for the next shot, you're looking for Patrick. And those are mentally contested shots, and people have a real problem playing against shot blockers like Patrick because mentally you have to find him before you find the basket.
Charles Oakley into the game. And you have to remember that Patrick Ewing comes into this game in the top 10 in the NBA in scoring, rebounds, and block shots. 39-33. Chicago, 7:15 to play first half. Greg Gumbel, Quinn Buckner at Chicago Stadium. Gerald Wilkins open for a moment. His shot is off the mark, and Scottie Pippen with a rebound and breaks again for Hodges.
That was an outstanding pass, Greg. You and I looked at him. Scottie Pippen was losing his balance, looked up at the last minute and was able to get the pass up. But Scottie is a guy that's really starting to become accountable from all over the court.
Ewing no good. Walker rebounds. Kenny Walker, who has fit nicely into the role player. And fouls Pippen, who gets the shot off, and it doesn't fall.
Timeout.
And we have a timeout on the floor with 6:31 to play here in the second quarter. The Knicks looking to regroup again. They're down 41-35. Chicago fans saw the Bulls get off to the hot start and continue that. They're shooting 63% from the floor. Michael Jordan with 18 points, the only player in double-figure scoring thus far. And he's clicking from the outside, something he didn't do Monday afternoon.
But, Greg, it's more of a mindset. What Michael did was get the team to understand, I'm taking it to the basket, I'm going to be aggressive, gets Michael off to a good start, and the team feeds off of Michael. You see, he's 4 for 4 from the three-point line, and if you're wondering about records, the record is 8 by Rick Barry and John Roach. Michael's got an outside chance. You know, he and Craig Hodges have a little thing going about who's going to have the most three-pointers in a game. And right now, I'd have to say Michael's doing a lot better than Craig. But Craig is very capable in that area.
It wouldn't be a wager, would it?
No.
They just discussed it.
They've just discussed it. Not a wager. Let's get that straightened out.
Of course, a week and a half ago, Mark Jackson and Charles Barkley, the 76ers, fined $5,000 by the league for a friendly wager. Maybe a little lane violation there, Bennett Salvatore says.
Just a minor lane violation. Stacey King was in almost a full 10th of a second before the ball was shot. Oh, they call it against both Stacey King and Patrick.
And Scottie Pippen takes a seat now.
But the interesting thing about that, you notice who they put back in the game, B.J. Armstrong. So they're starting to get the rookies some playing time here.
Speaking of rookies, number 42, Jeff Sanders, the rookie out of Georgia Southern, is in the lineup for the Bulls. Wilkins, blocked by Stacey King. Armstrong, Hodges, in and out. Cartwright with the rebound, and the Bulls will start over again. Armstrong and Hodges at the guard. Well, Stacey King, Sanders, and Bill Cartwright up front.
All three of their first-round draft picks in the game. And Jeff Sanders has been the slowest to come along. Had a foot injury, but speaking of Jerry Krause before the game, this young man has great defensive skills. His offense will come in time.
Baseline jumper is no good. Ewing has the rebound, and here come the Knicks. Down 42-35, 5:45 to play first half. Jackson down the lane. Scoops doesn't go. Walker fakes once and foul.
That was on Stacey King. That's his first, team second.
Stacey King draws the foul, and that's his first.
I was teasing Stacey about his Sooners. They ran into a little bit of a buzzsaw. And he said, no, they'll be back. And he's right. You know, the Oklahoma Sooners, as a matter of fact, have led the country in scoring just about the entire year in college. But this is a young man that I think a great deal of credit has to go to, obviously, Michael Jordan. But Kenny Walker was drafted in the first-round pick as a first-round pick for the Knicks, expected to be a scorer, got put out on the floor, tried to do some things that he's not quite suited to do. They've now made him a role player, a rebounder. He's very active around the offensive board, and really, I think, making the contribution that he's capable of making on any good team.
Jordan drives and draws the foul. And something that I mentioned to you, too, Quinn, about Kenny Walker, is that he jumps in traffic. He's going to take a seat on the bench now, but he jumps in traffic about as well as anyone in the league.
Yeah, he really does, and I think that's evident when you watch him go up and get a lot of what you call tip dunks, rebound dunks. That's because he's able to power jump, 2-foot jump, and get in there and to make that happen.
We remind you, by the way, that at the conclusion of the game, Quinn and I will select the Miller Lite player of the game, and in conjunction with the award, Light Beer will present a check in the amount of $1,000 in that player's name to United Cerebral Palsy. Up will be considered good.
Stacey King.
The Knicks say that was on the rim. The officials disagree. 44-37 with 5:20 to play. Bulls in front. Johnny Newman for three. Front rim no good. Jordan another rebound. That's 5 rebounds for Jordan this afternoon. Hodges for three.
Craig's had a bad foot, Greg. He's starting to feel better about it. I asked him what it affected most. He's a three-point shooter, and he said obviously that's what's giving him the most trouble. But he wanted to get off to a good start. He missed his first one, had the confidence to come back for the second.
Ewing to the baseline. That's his shot. He didn't hit it. Jordan down low for King, and Ewing over to block it out of bounds.
Boy, he covered a lot. Patrick covered a lot of space on that one. Stacey King had the clear advantage down on the post, but Patrick is just awesome. I mean, we watched him yesterday in practice, and he works as hard as anybody I've seen, you know, considering how big he is. Some big players need to conserve their energy. Patrick has never thought that that's in his game at all.
Scottie Pippen back into the lineup, replacing Jeff Sanders. Cartright, ball away, doesn't go, and he's fouled.
Foul is on Johnny Newman, his first penalty.
Foul is on Newman. That's number 1 on Newman. Not a bad acquisition for the New York Knicks a couple of years ago. Newman, originally picked by Cleveland in the second round back in 1986, waived before the 87-88 season, and signed as a free agent by New York in November of that year.
Bill Cartwright has really struggled for the Bulls. He hasn't had to be as much a part of the offense because the Bulls have had Michael. Scottie Pippen has gotten involved, but I think it's important, given that Bill is now in his 11th year, that the Bulls have to make a considerable run at the championship in the next 2 years, because at some point it's just too much to ask a center to get up and down with people like Patrick Ewing, Hakeem Olajuwon, and still be a contender for the championship. So the Bulls need to get it going here in the next year or two.
Knicks swing it to the far side. And now down low to Oakley. Working on King. Goes to the baseline, doesn't go. Follow is not good, and here come the Bulls. Loose ball. Jordan has it. Under 4 minutes to play for the half. Jordan. Nice pass to Pippen. The tip is good by King.
That's that live young body, Greg. Stacey King, long arms, very active, hard to keep off the boards.
And the Chicago Bulls are beginning to beat the Knicks to those offensive boards.
Well, they have both Scottie Pippen and Stacey King have such long arms that they can get the ball that most people don't think they can get to.
Foul is on Stacey King.
In the battle of 34s, King draws the foul. Oakley will go to the line. That's number 3 on the Bulls, number 2 on King. And Stacey has a seat on the bench, and in comes Horace Grant.
Stacey looking for a little bit of oxygen there. Stacey hadn't gotten that many minutes in a row. He's played good minutes for the Bulls, but not as consistently in terms of time.
.320 to play, first half. And the ball taken away and out of bounds to the Knicks.
You know, one of the things Phil Jackson talked about Scottie Pippen, they don't keep the league or nobody else, and I'm not sure you need to keep a list on tip passes. Scottie Pippen tips about more passes than anybody else in the league.
Whistle blows, and again, Charles Oakley will go to the line. Number 54, Horace Grant, draws his second of the game. Horace Grant in his 3rd year out of Clemson. First-round pick for the Bulls back in 1987. Charles Oakley, 5 points, 3 rebounds so far.
Greg, Oak looks like he was chiseled. I mean, you look at the body on that guy. Gee.
Charles checks in at 6'9", 245.
Without an ounce of fat.
Now with 6 points and 3 boards. Bulls lead at 50-38. And 3:10 to play first half. Cartwright looks down low for Pippen. And Pippen follows.
You see his versatility, Greg. He's able to get his hand on the ball off defensively. That time, he missed the easy basket he's laughing about. Still able to get it back in the basket.
Compared to their game Monday, the Knicks are not as quick to the boards as the Bulls are today. That one rejected by Jordan. Here come the Bulls, 4-on-2. Grant is fouled as he takes it to the hoop.
Timeout, Chicago.
That'll stop the clock with 2:41 to play. The Chicago fans are appreciative. Phil Jackson's on top by a bunch.
On your way back to the Madhouse on Madison, I'm Pat O'Brien in New York City. Coming up on the Prudential at the half, late news, scores, and highlights. A wild one in Detroit. We'll have a report. Countdown to the Super Bowl has begun. We'll have reports from both camps. And a preview of the coveted AllMadden team. All that, and as usual, much, much more at a familiar place, the Prudential at the half. And Greg Gumbel, oh, for the days when I was your producer back there in Chicago. Remember those days?
Pat O'Brien has a way of bringing up those bad memories, doesn't he? Welcome back to Chicago Stadium, everyone. 2:41 to play. Actually, this is home for me. This is home for Quinn Buckner.
Yeah, it's good to get back here. You see the Knicks have outscored, the Bulls outscored the Knicks 14-5 in the last 440. You know, we were worrying about the rebounds. Usually both teams have been able to stay pretty active on this thing, but I think the thing for Chicago is they're back home. You know, that makes a big difference. They've been out on the road, but when you get back home, it is nothing like sleeping in your own bed, eating food that you're accustomed to. And I think on the other side, the Knicks have been out since Tuesday, and they're struggling from that because there was a flight. We were talking to John Sorello, the PR man for the Knicks, and they were talking about the flight was from Dallas to Chicago going on the LaGuardia, and some of the guys were thinking, well, this would be nice to just stay on and go all home.
Knicks are in a stretch where they play 6 of 7 on the road. This one out of bounds and belongs to the Knicks. And that one home game that the Knicks play is Tuesday night against the Lakers.
And the Lakers are ready for bear, obviously, by the game that just preceding this one. They got Detroit in Detroit, and that's a task that not many people have been able to do.
Kenny Walker back into the lineup for New York. And Walker open for the baseline jumper.
Now, that's a big lift coming off the bench, Greg. I was about to say Walker is in for his defensive ability and offensive rebounding ability, not for his jump shot. So that's gravy when you see Walker making jump shots like that.
Kenny Walker has 8 points worth of gravy this afternoon. 2:10 to play right now, first half. Bulls by 13. Ewing on Cartright. Cartwright off the baseline, no good, out of bounds, and belongs to New York.
Bill Cartwright has just had the toughest time trying to get around Patrick. Patrick is starting to lift free weights, and he's so much stronger in his upper body, and that really benefits him because he has a long torso.
Pass inside, Ewing couldn't hold on, and that will be on Ewing. Loose ball foul. That's number 2 on Ewing. And Knicks in the penalty situation, and the Bulls will go to the line.
Bill Cartwright, 2 shots.
You know, when Patrick came in yesterday, I've talked to him, having worked with him as an special assistant with the Olympic team in '84. I'd only seen Patrick maybe twice since then. But when he walked over to us, I mean, that person was entirely different than the young man that I was coached back in '84. He's much more confident about himself as a player. You can tell in the way he carries himself. He's more confident just as an individual. And his conversation is so much more developed. And it's really great to see a young man grow up to be the kind of person that Patrick has started to be.
Cartwright misses them both, and there's a stat that Phil Jackson won't like much at halftime. Right now, the Bulls are shooting less than 50% from the free throw line, and Kenny Walker hits another one, and he has 10 points.
Kenny Walker's getting that feeling, Greg. That good feeling.
Jordan's quick pass inside, almost lost by Grant. 1:20 to play for the half. Shot clock down to 11. Shot clock at 6. Pippen going to have to force it, and that's a double. That's travel. It's going to either be a double dribble or a travel, and then it's Salvatore pick the travel. Good defense by the Knicks. That was time down court.
And it really was. And you know who that was on Scott Pippen? That's Patrick out there guarding by the three-point line.
1 minute to play. First half. Oakland. Double team outside. Wilkins for 3. And it's 53-45.
You know, that three-pointer keeps you in the game, Greg. I don't care how far teams think they get away, but somehow three-pointer, you know, obviously makes up that little difference that it does. But psychologically, it gets everybody involved in the game.
Jordan with 20.
Gave a little conversation to Patrick on the way back, letting him know you were there a little late, Patrick.
Bulls by 10 as we approach 20 seconds. Wilkins spinning inside, gives to Oakley, and didn't get the bucket, but he will go to the line.
Fouls on Michael Jordan, his second penalty. Oakley.
Jordan draws his second personal foul. And Oakley goes to the line. Stacey King returns to the lineup, replaces Bill Cartwright. And John Paxson is in.
You're going back here on the offensive end, and you see you got the two guards here. Both of those young men, both Paxson as well as Craig Hodges, are three-point shooters. And so now you have basically 4 guards, to tell you the truth, if you look at it, because you also have Scottie Pippen and Michael Jordan in the game along with Stacey. And that's about as quick a team as the Bulls can get on the basketball court. In terms of outside shooting, with the exception of King, all 4 guys can make the three-point shot.
Oakley now 3 for 6 from the free throw line today. 55-46 Chicago. No shot clock. 13 seconds for the half.
The reason they do this is because they'll eventually open the middle up so Michael can take the ball anywhere he wants to, and everybody else can just pop out and get shots.
Hodges nailed it for 2. And time for one final fling, and there's a travel. Ewing's long heave would not have counted anyway. Referee Bob Delaney calls a travel. And there is exactly 1 second showing on the clock. And Phil Jackson calls a 20-second timeout. He wants to do something with this 1 second.
Well, the Bulls have a chance to get a lob, or I guess, depending on what the league says, maybe you can get a shot off in 1 second. I don't know.
Well, he certainly has 10 times as long a time as Trent Tucker had. Coming up next, Pat Summerall joins John Madden live from the Louisiana Superdome, the site of Super Bowl 24, as they select the 1989 All-Madden squad. It's the 6th annual, and John gives this advice for those trying to make the team. You got to play hard, have fun, enjoy it, get dirty, let things fly around. We like mud and blood and stuff on the face and on the uniform. That's coming up next here on CBS. 1 second on the clock.
If I'd have played football, I'd have died to be on the All-Madden team.
I think that's what you have to do to get there.
That's what it sounds like.
Sounds like physical harm in one way or another. Scottie Pippen will inbound. Hodges casts off at the buzzer, and it comes down short. And we have come to the end of the first half with the score, Chicago 57 and the Knicks 46. Pat O'Brien will be back with the Prudential at the half right after this.
CBS Sports presents the Prudential at the half. Sponsored by the companies of the Prudential. Come to the Prudential and build your future on the rock.
And our score at the half, the Bulls lead the Knicks 57-46. Jordan with 20, Ewing with 4. And hi again, everybody. I'm Pat O'Brien, and welcome again to the Prudential at the half. Let's go right to the scoreboard and get you up to date here in the NBA. Only one other game going on right now, and Milwaukee is killing Miami 59-39. Earlier today at the Palace of Auburn Hills and here on CBS, the Lakers beat Detroit 107-97, but there are a lot of stories in this game. It began with the Lakers, James Worthy kept the Lakers in the game in the first half. He had 26 first-half points. As Chuck Daly said, come on, calm down, we're ahead 53-50 at the half. Then in the third quarter, Mark Aguirre and Worthy collide under the basket, and they both go down hard. Aguirre goes down harder, and this is one of the most scary scenes in sports for any athlete, but it turned out to look worse than it was.
He had extreme pain in the low back area. We were concerned that he might have a fracture of one of his lumbar vertebrae. The x-rays are all negative. I think he just may have pulled a muscle in the low back. He's got a lot of spasm in his back.
There might have been several stories in this game, and one of them was the fights. This is the first one. Edwards hits the fall away, and then Lambeer and Magic get involved under the basket. No harm, no foul on that one. In the second bout, this time it was James Worthy and Dennis Rodman under the basket. This seemed to go on all afternoon. As now watch this. Thompson comes down with a rebound, and watch Isaiah with the flurries. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. He's thrown out of the game. He's ejected. And this rivalry, folks, is definitely certified.
I think it's just a spur of the moment. You know, I think that we tried so hard, but it just wasn't going for us. And I think this thing just got out of hand.
Well, good news on Mark Aguirre. He is expected to miss at the most 1 or 2 games. Well, they are playing the National Hockey League All-Star game today, and at the end of 2 periods, Wales leads Campbell 9-4. Mario Lemieux with a hat trick in front of his hometown crowd out there in Pittsburgh. As we reported earlier today, it is now official. Arkansas coach Ken Hatfield is now coach of the Clemson Tigers, replacing Danny Ford, who resigned earlier this week. Well, somehow I don't think I have to remind you, but 1 week from right now, they'll be getting ready to play Super Bowl 24. And let us be the first to show you the kind of videotape you'll be seeing for the next 7 days. This one is of the 49ers departing the Bay Area for New Orleans. They're leaving from the San Jose airport. Some of them carrying their own cameras. We have reports on both the 49ers and the Broncos. And let's begin with Randy Cross, who is our correspondent with San Francisco.
All's quiet this morning at the 49er facility. The 49ers had their last practice session here yesterday before leaving today for New Orleans. But before leaving, the 49ers didn't sound like a team favored by a dozen points.
It seems that we're the underdog. That's the attitude that the guys had all year, and it's no different right now.
You can't think about last year's Super Bowl. You can't think about whether Denver's beaten us in the past or not.
The best story that anyone could possibly write is the Broncos beating us, and so we realize that there's a lot of pressure on us.
George Seifert's biggest concern has been safety Ronnie Lott. Lott hasn't practiced this week due to a deep thigh bruise, but he'll be ready Sunday.
I would have to say that I'm probably about 85, 90%. And it's just a matter of wanting to go out on the football field 100%, but it's no use in aggravating it right now.
Joe Montana's only aggravated his opponents. A win Sunday will enshrine the 49ers as one of football's elite.
For this organization, it would do wonders, for us to have won 4 championships and would set us up there with the Steelers.
With the 49ers in Santa Clara, Randy Cross, CBS Sports. Now let's go to Irv Cross in Denver.
As you can see, Bronco Mania is alive and kicking here in Denver. And every time this fan's team wins the AFC Championship, he gets out the paint and brush. But he's yet to add the Lombardi Trophy to the walls of his house. And many fans believe he'll have to wait at least another year. But don't tell that to the Broncos.
We are good enough to play with the 49ers. I think on Sunday we'll see a totally different game than most people are expecting.
We won't look at it as an upset. We don't want to lose. We're not going into this game expecting to lose and hoping we win. We're going in expecting to win.
I don't think it would really surprise us if we won the game because we fully expect to go in and compete and come out on top.
The Broncos held their last practice in Denver yesterday, and for many of them, it is not their first trip to the Super Bowl. So they appeared to be relaxed and confident. As the Broncos board their charter for New Orleans today, Denver leaves with mile-high hopes of winning their first Super Bowl. When I asked head coach Dan Reeves earlier if he'd planned anything different for this one, he said, first of all, we're leaving a day earlier. And secondly, we've worked completely through our game plan this week, so if we had to play the game today, we could. So all we're going to do in New Orleans is simply polish things up. In Denver, I'm Irv Cross for CBS Sports.
Of course, there is another annual super event that always precedes the Super Bowl, and that's the naming of the AllMadden team. We'll have that as At the Half rolls on that road to the Super Bowl after a commercial and a word from your local station. Back in New York City, this is the Prudential At the Half. So I'm on the phone with John Madden yesterday, and he tells me, hey, boom, I've got linebackers all over the place. Well, we weren't talking about who was riding his bus. We were talking about football. John Madden football. The AllMadden team is announced today after basketball, and for a preview, boom, here's John and Pat Summerall. Gentlemen.
We're at the Superdome in New Orleans, where later today we'll introduce you to the 6th annual AllMadden team. And John, just exactly what are you looking for?
Well, it doesn't make any sense. You just take a bunch of guys and some stuff, some combinations, throw in a pizza in a computer, and whatever comes out. That's it.
You know, some of the Philadelphia Eagles think they know.
Randall, what does it take to make the AllMadden team?
The AllMadden team, you've got to get dirty. You've got to get bloody. You've got to get sweaty. You've got to get down to business, dirty, nasty, and you got to play.
You got to get stinking. You got to get tough.
And you got to use your etch-a-sketch.
Now, as a defensive lineman, this is what I would do. I would line up on the left side. Oh, it's way over there.
This is your telestrator, right?
Yeah, and I would rush the pass, and I'd go down about 15 yards and come back across, and then come over like that. And then I probably would go up because the quarterback had already scrambled out, and I'd come back out this way because the quarterback ran down the field. He threw a pass down the field, so I would probably take the pursuit and go down the field and make the tackle down the field and get clipped by offensive linemen, and they won't call it.
Those guys stole our blazers.
Yeah, skanky. You got to be that, too.
We'll see today later if they make the squad when we announce the 6th annual All-Madden team. Now let's go back to Pat O'Brien in New York.
All right, Pat, gentlemen, where do they get those toys, huh? Greg and Quinn are about to bring you the second half from Chicago. I'm Pat O'Brien. Thank you for joining us on the Prudential at the Half. Enjoy the second half here on CBS.
The Prudential at the Half has been sponsored by the companies of the Prudential. Come to the Prudential and build your future on the rock. CBS Sports coverage of the National Basketball Association is sponsored by Northwest Airlines, the airline that serves over 220 cities and 20 countries on 3 continents. And by Ford and your Ford dealer. Have you driven a Ford lately?
Welcome back to Chicago, Illinois, everyone. As we prepare for the start of the third period, the Chicago Bulls are in front of the New York Knicks by a score of 57-46. Greg Gumbel along with Quinn Buckner. And, almost an hour and a half ago when we started all of this, we said, look out for this battle between Michael Jordan and Patrick Ewing. Well, Michael Jordan has done very well with 20 points, but Patrick Ewing has failed to show up, at least thus far, for his share of the battle.
Well, I don't think he failed to show up. I'm not sure he got the ball in position to score as often as he would like. He was 2 for 6, which is really a problem for the Knicks. They've got to get him the ball on the block, and they've got to be patient offensively. If you throw the ball into Patrick, he's going to get double-teamed. Let him kick it back out. The defense has to resettle and then throw it back to him. Michael Jordan came out with a much more determined look, I thought. He got the 3-pointers, which makes you come out to guard him. And if you come out to guard him, now he can take it to the basket, start dispersing the ball amongst his teammates, and that's what got the Bulls off to the great start they did. And the Knicks have got to get back defensively for transition.
I would expect that the Knicks' defensive philosophy won't change on Michael Jordan. At least keep him shooting from the outside rather than have him penetrate and get everyone else involved as well.
Percentages are with you normally. And I emphasize normally. Stu Jackson wants his team to make Michael Jordan make the shot from the outside. Then you can worry about what happens inside. But if he's making that jump shot, Michael has so many things in his arsenal that it's just difficult to guard him. The Bulls have got to, the Knicks have got to find a way just to keep the ball away from Michael.
Do me a favor, don't tell Patrick that I said he didn't show up.
Yeah.
Patrick is here. His game just hasn't followed him through the door yet. We'll see. Just underway here in the third quarter. Paxson down low. Back outside for Cartright. And the Chicago Bulls, who shot 51% from the floor in the first half, pick it up again, 59-46.
But they came out with the kind of offensive patience that the Knicks have to have. That ball was passed 5 times before there was a wide open shot shake.
Ewing driving off the glass. No. Rebound. Jackson has it for Oakley. Good look for Mark Jackson for Charles Oakley.
From that play, it looks at one of the things the Knicks were told in the locker room is, guys, we have to get on the offensive glass. That means we've got to come up with the rebound, because the risk of not coming up means you allow for defensive transition, offensive transition for the Bulls.
Ewing rebounds the missed shot by Jordan. Wilkins and Jackson at guard. Newman, Ewing, and Oakley up front for the Knicks. Jackson moving inside on Paxson and puts it up and in.
Mark Jackson.
For the Bulls, Paxson and Jordan in the backcourt, Cartwright, Pippen, and Horace Grant. And this is Grant. Far side to Paxson. On the switch, Ewing is now on Pippen, and inside, Cartwright draws a foul.
Johnny Newman is third.
And that's number 3 on Johnny Newman.
Smart play on the part of Scottie Pippen. He was able, Pippen was, to get Patrick to switch on him, and then from there, what they try to do is just throw the ball inside on Newman.
Two-pointer by John Paxson.
And I mentioned that point to talk about the maturity of Scottie Pippen. You know, 2 years ago, he might have rushed that play and not allowed the Bulls to get an opportunity to get that foul call.
11-point Chicago lead. Wilkins for Newman, who drives inside and lost control as he went up. Ewing can't handle it, and here comes Pippen. Pippen's good pass inside for Grant.
It looks like everything is just going well for the Bulls, and the Knicks is just struggling to no end. That time Patrick couldn't hold on to it, and the Bulls just seem to have everything going their way.
Including the fast break points, as you saw. There's an errant pass picked off by Jordan. And here he comes. And Stu Jackson wants a timeout. 22 for Jordan. A 15-point Chicago lead. 9:24 still to play in the third. Well, if you're playing defense in the NBA, trying to get back, this could be your worst nightmare.
Well, the fans loved it because right about here, all of a sudden they start cheering, and you see Michael coming right in your face. It's like, let me run to get out of the way so the ball doesn't hit me when he throws it down.
Michael Jordan with 22. And the Bulls with their largest lead of the day, 65-50.
Now, one of the players for the Knicks, Greg, that I think needs to come alive is Mark Jackson. He distributes the ball to the players. He knows when people are struggling, and Patrick is clearly struggling. Mark Jackson has to make a decision. Who do you go to for help?
Well, Charles Oakley draws the foul as he powers inside.
His first, team's first. Oakley, 2 seconds.
Number 1 on Scottie Pippen. You know, you mentioned we're talking with Stu Jackson in this extended road trip. He says kind of feels sorry for his wife back in New York because his wife, Dr. Janet Taylor, recently gave birth to twin girls. And Stu says it's been a tiring road trip, but Mrs. Jackson doesn't sound like she's been getting much sleep at home.
No, I suspect she hasn't been, and she's looking forward to Stu come back and help out with the daily chores.
Proud papa of 3 now. 3 girls and a pair of twin daughters. 65-52 as Oakley hits them both. Paxson, that's a double dribble.
Got to keep your composure there. John Paxson saw something I didn't see. To take that extra dribble.
8:45 to play. Whistle goes down below. And this will be against Johnny Newman.
Foul, Johnny Newman is 4th.
That's number 4 on Newman, and Stu Jackson will immediately go to his bench for Kenny Walker.
Kenny Walker for Newman.
New York struggling desperately to try to get Patrick into the offense. That time I thought that Newman just got aggressive in setting the foul, but getting Kenny Walker in the game may be what they needed because Kenny is very active and he could probably get the team into some offensive transition game, and that's what they need to be able to get some easy, quick hoops.
Jordan on the baseline will draw the foul. And that'll be on Gerald Wilkins. That's number 2 on Wilkins. Monday, Jordan was not able to get inside, struggled from the outside, and was not at all a big factor in the game. And there's another one on Wilkins.
He's got to wonder how much his knee was bothering. I mean, he'll never say, he hasn't said it to me. I know that he has had a bum knee, and so he probably didn't want to force that action and was just hoping that he could make his jump shot and get himself into the flow that way.
Jordan turnaround, not there. Oakley rebounds. 65-52. Ewing double teamed and will draw a foul. And that one will be on Jordan. If you're just joining us, 17,339 here in Chicago Stadium. The 108th consecutive sellout for the Chicago Bulls as the Bulls play host to the New York Knicks. We have 8:09 to play in the third quarter, and the Bulls lead it by 13.
Well, Patrick Ewing is a guy that we expected to have a good game. He's really struggled offensively. But Michael Jordan, on the other hand, came out with a very determined look, made 4 3-pointers, and the Bulls have pretty much had their way in this game.
Incredible, considering the season that gentleman has had, that he has just 5 points right now.
Well, Greg, he only had 6 shots, I believe, at the half, and that's part of the problem. If you're the focus of the offense, you've got to be able to get some shot opportunities, and Patrick Ewing just didn't get enough in the first half.
Jordan drives past. Oh, what a feed for Grant.
Foul on Patrick Ewing, his third, team's fourth. Horace Grant.
The thing that was even more amazing is I don't know how Michael quite got the pass there. I mean, in front of us, he was stumbling about to fall. And he was able to stay up and get the pass to Grant, who did a good job in drawing the foul against Patrick Ewing.
3 personals on Ewing.
You know, this young man at the foul line was the reason that that Oakley now plays with the New York Knicks, because the Bulls felt that if they could get somebody like Horace Grant at about 6'10" to play really well and aggressively at that center spot, rebound and play defense, that they could afford to let Oakley go. And it was a gamble. It's worked out for the Bulls, but it's one that I think that everybody has to be pleased with.
Double team on Jackson. Loose ball. Bulls have it for the moment. Scottie Pippen secures it.
Greg, that's interesting. When it goes well, it goes well. That's typically, that press is for token pressure. And that time, the Bulls come out with 2 foul shots from it.
And Ewing came up and fouled Jordan on that move. That's 4 on Ewing. And Ewing, still struggling to get into the offense, will now have to go to the bench.
Well, you can see with that look right there, Patrick is trying to find out, what am I doing wrong? He just can't seem to get into the basketball game. Eddie Lee Wilkins has got to come in and replace him. And it's just one of those days. Trust me, I've had days like this. I was never as good as Patrick, mind you, but some days you just can't get it going, and Patrick has really struggled here.
What you're saying is you had more of them than Ewing had.
Yes.
Meanwhile, Michael Jordan now with 24 points, 6 rebounds, 4 assists. And the steal. Pippen for Grant. Pippen was knocked to the floor. Jordan with the move and the bucket.
Oh, no.
.53 Chicago. And Jordan now out on Jackson. Eddie Lee Wilkins around and out. And here come the Bulls.
You better find him.
Jordan rushed that one a little bit.
He did.
Short.
He got into the fans cheering a little bit, and Michael wanted to keep him going, so he just rushed the shot.
Approaching 6.5 to play for the third quarter. Horace Grant, baseline turnaround.
That's a shot that Horace Grant has really started to perfect, his turnaround jump shot. They had Kenny Walker where he wanted him smart. And Steve Jackson says, folks, we got to stop this.
8 straight points for the Bulls. It's given them a 20-point lead with 6:21 to play in the third. As you said, Quinn, when things go well for you, they really go well.
Well, they have gone well for Chicago. You see by that field goal percentage. But the majority of that is just fast break basketball. The Bulls have been able to create turnovers. They've gotten the ball inside. Michael got off 4 for 4 from the three-point line. It all adds up. And it snowballed in just the reverse. for the Knicks. They never got off to a good start. Then the fans got into it. Michael started feeling better. And, boy, you don't want Michael feeling good on the court.
And one thing you made reference to, there has been no one to step to the fore and take charge for the Knicks.
No, there hasn't been. As I said, I expected Mark Jackson to try to do a little bit of that, but he hadn't been able to do it. And I suspect because Patrick has been the focus of the team, you become so relying on that player that you sometimes forget that it's your responsibility to take it over.
Charles Oakley will be back at the free throw line, having drawn the foul. Stacey King will be in. Next opportunity for Chicago.
Charles Oakley, one of the players that got involved in a little bit of a controversy as to whether or not he got, enough playing time. And then when you talk to Stu Jackson about it, those are the kind of worries you like to have. You want your players to say, well, I'm not playing enough, because at least you know they want to play. Because there's a period where some guys don't put forth that kind of effort, and fortunately for the Knicks, they don't have that. Oakley comes to play hard every night, but that particular game, Stu Jackson just decided to go with Pete Meyers instead of Charles Oakley.
Chicago rebounds. Jordan lobs, and the pass off from Pippen to King.
Michael was mad because Scotty passed the ball. Michael was looking for the lob and the dunk.
Trent Tucker now in the lineup for Chicago. Or New York, rather, excuse me. Jackson trying to work inside, has the foul, and the shot won't fall. That's about par for the course for the Knicks so far today.
Well, it won't fall, but Mark got the foul. But what it looked like Mark is trying to do is, again, start going to the basket, because that's what you have to do when you're in trouble. You need to go to the basket, show some real enthusiasm about getting there. And when you do that, now all of a sudden everybody collapses. Then you can throw it out to your jump shooter.
That's Jackson's 5th point. He comes in averaging just over 11 and had a season-high 33 against the 76ers earlier this month. Hits them both. And the Knicks are going to go to a little pressure now.
This is one of their pressing units. When Kenny Walker's in the game, the Knicks will try to get up and do it, but the Bulls have too many good ball handlers on the court to be pressed.
Pippen, baseline.
Almost out of bounds. Baseline.
Loose ball. Jordan taps it away. Back to Jordan.
Too close, Greg. That was the problem. He was inside the three-point line.
Jackson down the lane. Pops it home. Mark Jackson has 8. And more pressure by the Knicks. And that one will be on Jackson.
The foul on Mark Jackson is first.
That's number 1 of the day on Jackson. And Michael Jordan will go to the line.
Mark Jackson been a bit of a center of controversy in New York as to whether or not he should start or Rod Strickland should start. And for my money's worth, I think you've got to start Mark Jackson, and I'll tell you why. When you've got a player like Patrick and you want to ensure his maturity on the court, you need somebody that's been through this thing, and I mean playing a couple of times. Mark Jackson has done that. Rod Strickland hasn't. Otherwise, you run the risk of trying to teach 2 people the ins and out of the league. And I think Mark Jackson is the best choice for the Knicks at that spot.
28 for Jordan now. Although, and no one will deny it, Rod Strickland will show flashes of absolute brilliance on the court.
I didn't mean to degrade or demean him at all. Rod Strickland can play. I mean, he can play with the best of them at the point guard spot. Great skills. Just has to grow up. You know, he came out of school early, so he's still maturing. But Mark Jackson, as I said, has that maturity, and that's what you need when you have a center. You want to make sure he gets in the game.
Horace Grant along the baseline, and he'll go to the line for the 3-point try. Jackson draws his second. Of course, as we talk about Rod Strickland, no stranger to the folks here in Chicago, having come out of DePaul University.
Oh, they know he can play here, believe me. I'll tell you what he does. I was talking to Isaiah Thomas about him. Isaiah said he's the quickest player that he has to guard, but the other side of that coin, he can stop on a dime, and that's what really gets you caught between, is that he can take off, and then he just stops on you so quickly.
Jackson inside. Shot doesn't fall, but he'll go to the line to shoot 2. Horace Grant, incidentally, has scored 9 of his 11 points here in the third quarter. And we still have 4:24 to play. There's Rod Strickland.
I saw him talking to Joey Meyers here before the game, the DePaul coach, and I'm sure one of the things that Joey is just telling Rod is just to hang in there, you know. And Rod has been through this. He understands it's a business. I mean, he would like to play more. Again, one of those players you want him to want to feel that way. But in light of the situation, they've made a decision to keep Mark Jackson as the starting point guard, which I think is a good decision. Now the Knicks have to make a decision. Do you want to live with somebody like a Rod Strickland who has value to a lot of other teams? Because this young man can start on just about any other team in the league.
One of the many rumors surrounding the Knicks is that Larry Brown down in San Antonio would love to have him. Paxson, long cross-court, Pippen out of bounds, and it belongs to New York. 4:10 to play, third quarter. Tucker looks down low to Eddie Lee Wilkins. Doesn't go, tap no good. Walker rebounds and puts it up. And Kenny Walker having himself a fine afternoon. 12 points.
The jump shot is what I've been impressed with. I mean, he can make that little shot. But one of the reasons that he was in trouble when he first got in the league is that the Knicks had him shooting the ball facing the basket. This is a guy that's only 6'7", great jumper, but he played with his back to the basket.
In college at Kentucky, here's a rebound off to Oakley. Kenny Walker with 7 rebounds along with those 12 points today. 3:30 to play now, third quarter. Shot clock is at 8. Jackson drives the lane, puts it up, and he'll go to the free throw line again. And this one will go against John Paxson.
So that's to the Knicks' advantage, because Paxson will have a tough time guarding Mark Jackson. Mark has just got too much savvy, too much foot speed on Paxson.
Number 8, Pete Meyers, into the game at guard for the Knicks. In his 4th year in the NBA, his 2nd with New York. Out of Arkansas Little Rock.
Pete's a good defensive player. They brought him in the game to the Knicks because now they have a quick lineup. They're going to probably increase their pressure, try to make some things happen here because they need to get some turnovers. And the group with Pete Meyers, Kenny Walker, Trent Jackson, that's the group they normally use to pick up the tempo.
You heard the reaction from the Chicago fans. Mark elicited that by slamming the ball to the floor.
Are they saying he's bad or what?
Mark Jackson has never been against putting on a show of sorts. Paxson to Jordan. And he's fouled as he tried to go down the lane. That one's on Meyers, and that's his first.
His first penalty. Michael Jordan, 2 shots.
What amazes you about Michael is how quick he can turn it on. I mean, and I don't mean in a game, I mean during the course of a game. If you watch him, he looks like he's right there with you. And if you blink your eye, that 1/10 of a second, boy, he can just get to the basket with such extreme power.
It's 30.
It's amazing when you think about it. You know, he had Michael Jordan and Pat Ewing on the same team, along with Chris Mullins on the same Olympic team. I mean, that's an awesome threesome right there.
Pete Meyers into the lane, reverse layup, no. Oakley is there for the tap in. 84-66. Bulls, 2:55 for the third quarter. And out of bounds, and it belongs to the Bulls. And we have a timeout on the floor. Chicago Stadium fans enjoying what they're watching. The Bulls lead at 84-66.
Presented by Dominic Spider Foods and Eagles.
Next Sunday, Super Bowl Sunday here on CBS, and we get it all started with the Super Bowl Today show beginning at 3 o'clock Eastern. Brent Musburger, Irv Cross, Will McDonough, Dick Butkus, Terry Bradshaw, Ken Stabler, Dan Fouts, and Mike Ditka. It includes a review of the season, a look back at the 80s, and a look at how New Orleans is preparing for its biggest event of the year with Bernard Goldberg of 48 Hours. And at 5 o'clock, the 49ers and Joe Montana, the Denver Broncos, and John Elway. B.J. Armstrong in the game for Chicago. And so is Will Perdue. And shot clock runs down on Chicago.
Will Perdue never saw the clock. It's one thing. He didn't play a lot, did Perdue, last year. So he's got to get into that line of thinking. He's basically still a rookie. So he's got to get into the 24-second clock line of thinking.
Meanwhile, the Knicks going with 3 guards, Mark Jackson, Trent Tucker, and Pete Meyers.
Well, that's a matchup to what the Bulls have, because with Scottie Pippen and Michael, you still, as well, BJ, you have 3 guards on the court. Now, that was a sight there, those shoes. As Will Perdue has got, I believe, a 22-7E. I mean, that's a sizable understanding. 22-7E. I played with Bob Lanier, and he had some outstanding understandings. He's just been matched.
You don't knock those guys off their feet, do you? They
Not very often.
kind of lean back and come right back up. Jackson hits 2 for 2. 12 points for Jackson today, 84-68. Bulls. Jordan inside to Stacey King. Milwaukee Bucks leading Miami in the 4th quarter. Kenny Walker open, top of the key, and Walker nails another one.
Kenny Walker's been a bright spot for the Knicks. They've been struggling everywhere else. To see him make jump shots, it's got to be something they've been looking forward to.
Kenny Walker has 14. And Bennett Salvatore is going to blow the whistle on Pete Meyers down low.
Pete Meyers is second.
He couldn't have held on to Michael anymore if he was a handle. I mean, he had him good. And then he's complaining about it, no less. You know, Meyers started here. He got drafted by the Bulls in '86. I believe he was like the 6th-round pick. So he's got a little history with Michael. They guarded him in practice. I don't think he guarded him quite this way, though.
Meanwhile, Rod Strickland has replaced Mark Jackson in the lineup. He'll join Trent Tucker in the backcourt.
I got to laugh at Trent. I asked him, Trent, can you make a shot in a 1/10 of a second? Boy, he stood with a straight face and said, yes, I was just amazed. No way.
88-70. Strickland down the lane, whistle blows, and that'll be an offensive foul on Charles Oakley. And I'll tell you, Charles Oakley threw a monstrous pick for Rod Strickland.
Well, you got to be sure when your man is going in the direction, you help him out a little bit, Greg. That was just a little too much.
3rd personal on Oakley. Pippen, a quick turn, nice shot. Bulls have it back at 20 with 1:20 to play in the quarter. And that's another offensive foul on the Knicks. And that's against Strickland. That's 2 on Strickland. Johnny Newman back into the lineup, replacing Trent Tucker.
Greg Hodges.
Mitch, just right here is where Stu Jackson is looking for. Any combination he can get to get some guys out on the court, just to get him some offense going.
Craig Hodges will give Michael Jordan a rest for the remaining 70 seconds in this quarter.
I know the Knicks would like that to be for the rest of the game.
Armstrong down the lane. Kenny Walker taps it away in front of him. Oakley outlets and out of bounds. And I'll tell you who grabbed the rebound on the far side is Walt Frazier.
Yeah, Walt Frazier. Clyde could do a little bit of this too. He'd come up with a loose ball or two.
Stacey King. No good. Pippen. And they'll start it over again.
The Bulls are going to try to run it down as much clock as they can. You know, my first year in the league, I had the fortune or misfortune playing against Walt Frazier and Earl Monroe in the same backcourt. Boy, I want to tell you, that was like an eternity in a game.
There's a great block by Scottie Pippen, and he's got a foul to go along with it.
Now on Scottie Pippen, his fourth penalty. Newman, 2 seconds.
That'll send Johnny Newman in the line. There is Walt Clyde Frazier, one of the great names in New York Knicks basketball, doing color commentary on the radio broadcast back to New York.
Well, if you had a big game and it was down the stretch in the fourth quarter, you wanted Walt in the game on both ends of the court. He'd come up with the ball, had great hands, found ways to get it in the basket, either by getting the foul call. I mean, just he was a great, great basketball player.
And has some roots here locally, too, because attended Southern Illinois University. Jeff Sanders back into the lineup for Chicago. 90-72. No shot clock. 15 seconds left in the quarter. And the Bulls will play for one. Armstrong now goes to work on Johnny Newman and will take it from the top of the key. Shot at the buzzer. Doesn't go. And that is the end of the third period with the score. The Chicago Bulls 90, the New York Knicks 72. We'll return to Chicago Stadium after this message and a word from your local station.
Look at my chin. You got a dent. It's a cleft. A badly shaved cleft.
Introducing the Slim Twin Razor System with the slimmest cartridge to reach every place on every face.
What are we going to do about his dent? Let's pound it out.
New Slim Twin from Schick.
Part of the sellout crowd here at Chicago Stadium. Greg Gumbel along with Quinn Buckner. The Bulls leading the Knicks 90-72 as we start play in the fourth quarter. And the Knicks start the quarter with Rod Strickland, Pete Meyers, Kenny Walker, Johnny Newman, and Patrick Ewing.
Well, that's a bit of a change. They had Pete Meyers playing point guard, but they really want to get the ball right there down the path.
Ewing's turnaround is good, and that's the Patrick Ewing that fans around the league have been accustomed to seeing this year, but that's only the 7th point of the day. Sanders trouble at half court and finally gets it over the line.
Greg, it's one of the few times Patrick has gotten the ball without being not only double teamed but triple teamed as well. So, you know, one of the things the Knicks have to work on is finding a way to get him the ball quick so he can make his move.
Purdue with the hook.
Oh, impressive.
That's 9 points for Will Purdue. Newman is fouled trying to thread his way between two players. Here's a look at big Will Purdue.
Well, Bulls have said all along that he can play. You see right here, he's got a great little left-hand hook there. You can develop that going both ways. It makes you extremely difficult to guard.
Strickland throws one up high off the glass, has his own rebound. And the whistle blows. Stacey King disagrees.
On Stacey King, his third, team second.
Stacey kind of thought that was clean. He was really upset by that one. No, Stacey, that was a foul.
Johnny Newman to the line with 9 points today. Make it 10. Newman comes in averaging almost 14.
You know, this is a kid that Al Bianchi had seen prior to him going. He was at Richmond, and Al Bianchi had seen him play there. And then all of a sudden, when Al got the job, he picked up Richmond off of the waiver line. So you get almost for free.
DJ Armstrong in and out. Up no good. And the whistle blows, and that'll go against Chicago.
On Stacey King, his fourth.
That's 4 on King.
Delay of game, Chicago.
And a delay of game warning against the Bulls. Al Bianchi, the general manager of the Bulls, and of course another move of his last year was to acquire Kiki Vandeweghe from Portland. Of the Knicks, rather. And Kiki Vandeweghe on the injured list with tendonitis in the left foot. They don't know when he'll be back.
No, they said his back is doing a lot better. Talking to the training staff, they feel his back is okay. It's his foot that bothered him, and in his anxiety to try to get back, Kiki started working out extremely hard. He had some pain, and you know, athletes sometimes think pain will just kind of go away. Well, this pain didn't just go away, and unfortunately, Kiki has tendonitis in his left foot, and as you said, they don't know when he'll be able to return.
Ewing 8 points now to go with 6 rebounds, 92-77. Purdue for Sanders. And Ewing may have gotten a piece of that. Newman with the steal and loses it to Hodges. This is Armstrong double teamed, and now Purdue all the way over to Hodges and down low for Sanders. Purdue. That's pretty good ball movement by the Chicago Bulls.
Well, you hit it. The ball movement is what made Patrick have to come out and try to block the shot, and it allowed Purdue to get the easy lay-in basket right there.
And Johnny Newman will go to the line. The foul is on Craig Hodges. You know, you mentioned the training staff for the New York Knicks, Quinn, and we want to send our regards out to veteran trainer Mike Saunders, who was in an auto accident earlier this year and was hospitalized for a while, had some surgery. He's out of the hospital and home now, and they're looking forward to his return in a matter of weeks, and that's good news.
Yeah, it is good news. We do wish him well.
Newman comes up short. Bulls foul may get them into trouble as we move along here. Just 2 minutes into the fourth quarter, and they're already over the limit for the game.
Yeah, you're right. That could get them in trouble. The tough part about getting leads like this is just keeping your concentration, just being able to stay there, not do some dumb things, get easy fouls. And that's what the Bulls are getting themselves in the position to do.
Bulls turn it over. Here comes Strickland. Strickland weaving his way through and spins it home.
That's vintage Strickland. That's what the Knicks watch every day in practice. Rod Strickland dribble through the whole team. That's the capabilities of that young man.
94-80. What was a 22-point lead is now 14.
I suspect shortly we'll be seeing number 23 in the white out.
Good shot. Good shot.
Purdue, top of the key, Hodges. And down low and out of bounds. And there's a timeout on the floor. Stu Jackson looking for a ray of hope with 9:08 to play here in the fourth quarter.
Our question today.
Well, things have not gone well so far this afternoon for the New York Knicks, and the paint area, which is usually the domain of Patrick Ewing, has not belonged to him or to the Knicks today.
No, it really hasn't. And you recall, we talked to Stu Jackson yesterday, and that was the one thing that they really wanted to try to do, the Knicks, was to keep the ball out of the paint. They obviously haven't been able to do a very good job with that, and haven't been able to get Patrick the ball in the paint on the offensive end.
But the Knicks are showing signs of life here in the early minutes of the fourth quarter. Come down with another rebound, and here's Ewing. Ewing to the baseline, turnaround, not there. Strickland all alone, and doesn't get it, and then follows.
He got that on Bill Cartwright, like Strickland's up there like he's a 7-footer or something.
And it's 94-82. The Chicago lead is 12. And Michael Jordan back in the lineup. Cartwright gets Ewing in the air, but leaves the ball behind. 4-on-2 for the Knicks. Newman. And a foot on the ball will give the Knicks the ball out of bounds.
This game is not unlike what happened in New York. All of a sudden, the Bulls got out. The difference is the timing in which the Bulls all of a sudden seem to be lackadaisical, or more importantly, just the increased intensity on the part of the Knicks to get them back in the game.
Newman fakes once and puts it off the glass. Nice play by Johnny Newman. And it is a 10-point Chicago lead at 94-84. The last 4 minutes, you see it there. What the Knicks have done to the Bulls. Armstrong down the lane. That one is short. Ewing rebounds, and here comes New York. Strickland leads the charge and got caught up with men in front of him. And got a break.
He really got a break. One of the problems that Rod Strickland has had is he has a tendency to get in the air and not know what he wants to do with the ball. on the other side, you see coming in or going out of the game is B.J. Armstrong. Phil Jackson makes a good decision. He's got to get somebody in there with some experience in these kind of games, and he gets John Paxson in for B.J. Armstrong.
Horace Grant also back into the lineup, replacing Stacey King. This is Pete Meyers. Meyers outside, Newman for three. That would have been a big one for New York. Jordan's pass intercepted, and here comes Meyers along with Strickland. Good pass.
It was a great pass, Greg, by Meyers. Good decision by Stu Jackson to get Meyers in the game, because as I talked about, those are the capabilities of Meyers, and Strickland did a good job using the rim to protect himself.
94-86. Chicago's lead down to 8. Jordan fouled by Oakley.
Timeout, Chicago.
And the Bulls will take a timeout here with 6 minutes, 53 seconds to play in a game that suddenly doesn't look like it's nearly as over as we thought.
Right after the basketball game, I'll announce the 6th annual AllMadden team. What am I looking for? Well, I'm looking for guys that look like this, in uniforms like that, with bandages like this, but maybe most of all, plays and hits like that. And you'll see who the players are right after the game.
Welcome back to Chicago. Just a few minutes ago, Mr. Buckner mentioned how easy it is to lose your concentration with a big lead, and over the last 3.5 minutes, the Knicks have outscored Chicago 16-4. Is that what happened to the Bulls?
That is a little bit of what happened with them, Greg. I think as important as the Bulls lost their concentration, the Knicks increased the tempo on the defensive end, and the combination of the two has gotten the Bulls in a situation where if Michael misses these free throws, you're looking at an 8-point game. But the reality is the Bulls have to keep their concentration without regard to what the other team's doing. I think that's important for young kids to understand. If you're going to be a championship caliber team, you've got to be able to concentrate without regard to what the opposition is doing to you. This time, I think the Bulls were close to letting this get away from them. But when you got Michael, boy, I tell you what, it makes you feel pretty good if you feel Jackson sitting over there.
Michael Jordan now 34 points, 7 rebounds, 7 assists, and reestablishes a 10-point Chicago lead. Myers down low for Ewing, and Cartright draws the foul as they battled for position.
Bill Cartwright. That's his fourth.
I'm sure one of the things Stu Jackson told Patrick Ewing, too, is, look, you aren't doing yourself any favors unless you get that position down low where we need you.
Well, here's the other thing that I haven't seen as much of with Patrick as I have in other games. Patrick is quicker than Bill Cartwright and will Purdue. The toughest thing to do is guard a man when he's moving, and I haven't seen Patrick catch the ball on the move very much here. And the Knicks have been content to just catch him standing to try to get it to him. I suggest Patrick can move, get him the ball, and he's much more effective.
You see he is far below his season's average. That's 10 points today for Ewing. 6:40 to play, 96-88 Chicago. Paxson far side. Jordan down low and is fouled by Meyers.
Fouls on Pete Meyers, his third, team second. Michael Jordan, 2 shots.
That's number 3 on Pete Meyers. Bulls have had a cold spell from the floor, haven't they?
Well, they really have, and Greg, the continuity is what's gotten away from them. By that is, with Michael in the game, he gets everybody else involved. B.J. Armstrong struggled, tried to get his offense going, didn't do a very good job of getting them involved, and Stu Jackson did a good thing by getting people like Pete Meyers in the game. They also had Kenny Walker, who played well, and they stirred up the defensive end, keeping the Bulls from getting their offense going.
Jordan now 36 for the day, 12 for 14 from the line, and 12 straight free throws. And another 10-point Bulls lead with 6:15 to play. Gerald Wilkins. Chicago 98 and the Knicks 90.
All the Knicks have to do is get a good hold defense, and if they can get the hold and go down and score on the other end, you're looking at a 6-point game. Psychologically, that's a better game for you.
Good hands for Pete Meyers, who tapped that ball away, and Jordan was surrounded by 4 men in blue.
Now, interestingly enough, Rod Strickland is in the game as opposed to Mark Jackson.
Ewing inside, no. Rebound, Jordan. Jordan, good pass, down low, and the foul.
Michael Jordan gets the ball in the middle of the court, which you should do, but he really takes advantage of the running ability of Horace Grant. That's one of the reasons the Bulls wanted to keep Horace, obviously, as opposed to Oakley. Horace can run the court. He's got a little turnaround jump shot. I think he's going to have a great future with the Bulls.
Grant registers the first Chicago field goal in 4 minutes and 34 seconds. Bulls by 10. Bulls by 11. 101-90 as we approach 5.5 minutes to play for the game. Strickland down the lane and is knocked to the floor.
Foul is on Horace Grant, his third penalty.
Milwaukee a winner at home against the Miami Heat, 127-101. Earlier today here on CBS, you saw the Lakers beat the Detroit Pistons by 10, 107-97. Here it's the Bulls 101 and the Knicks 90, and Rod Strickland shooting 2.
Mark Jackson back to the Knicks for Pete Meyers.
And Mark Jackson back in the lineup to replace Pete Meyers.
Now, this is a combination you had talked to me about, and that's that Mark Jackson and Rod Strickland playing together. One that Stu Jackson didn't go away from, just that Gerald Wilkins had been, and Trent Tucker had been playing so well. It was just hard to find minutes for this combination. Obviously, Stu thinks that this is one that can get him back in the game here.
So it's Jackson and Strickland along with Ewing, Gerald Wilkins, and Oakley. Pippen. Loose ball, Pippen has it, and the Bulls will start over with a new 24.
You got a mismatch inside because Rod Strickland cannot guard Michael down there.
And Strickland fouls Jordan as he goes up for the turnaround.
You know, I made that slip with Michael and Magic, but that's what it gets like with Michael. When you walk around now and somebody said, well, how is Michael doing? It's like somebody says, well, how is Magic doing? Everybody knows who Michael is.
Superstar status in the NBA is on a first-name basis.
First name only.
Jordan with 37. And Phil Jackson gives a word of advice to Scottie Pippen.
You know, it's interesting watching Michael. He took off with the 3-pointers earlier, and you knew he was off to a big game. And then it looked like he just kind of got quiet. And you look up again, and he's got 37. And he makes it look so easy.
38, and it's 103-91. And timeout on the floor. The clock stops with 5 minutes and 1 second to play in the game. And the Bulls lead it 103-91. We'll be back. Coming up next, Pat Summerall joins John Madden live from the Louisiana Superdome. That's where they'll play Super Bowl 24 next week as they select the 1989 All-Madden squad. It's the 6th annual, and John gives you some advice for those trying to make the team. Play hard, have fun, enjoy it, get dirty, let things fly around. Get mud and blood and stuff on your face and on your uniform, and all of that's coming up next here on CBS. We still have 5 minutes to play here at Chicago Stadium. Greg Gumbel, Quinn Buckner, Chicago in the lead, the Knicks with the ball. Jordan went for the steal, didn't get it. Ewing throws it up and comes up limping.
Well, you saw a bit of Patrick's ability right there. What happened was Bill Cartwright got his foot caught under Patrick, but you're looking at a 7-footer take the ball to the basket from the top of the key. You see he'll go here, and you'll watch they'll collide knees. Yeah, it's just that Bill Cartwright, in trying to turn to open up to let Patrick bind, just didn't do it in time. But that's what amazed me about Patrick. When I watch some play by him, he goes left, right, and he's 7 feet tall, and driving from that far out is a tremendous feat.
Ewing hits them both. He has 12 and 7 rebounds, and it's a 10-point lead for Chicago.
The Knicks are by no stretch out of the game now. When they were down 22, you got a chance. It's just a long one. They put themselves in position, play good defensive, and hold twice and scored 2 times down the court. They're in this game good.
Paxson, long range, got it. That's a 2-pointer.
Got to play defense.
Cartwright playing with 5 fouls now, and he and Ewing putting up a heck of a battle down low. Strickland outside, Jackson for 3. Around and out. No one wanted the rebound, and now the foul is on Charles Oakley. That's number 4 on Oakley. And in the penalty situation, the Bulls will now go to the free throw line.
The one thing I think Phil Jackson has done a good job doing is getting his team to play defensively. The Knicks have stopped moving. And so they're so much easier to guard when they're like that. And their efforts to get the ball to Patrick, none of the guys are moving on the Knicks team, so Patrick doesn't have any other outlets or anything else to do. And therefore, when Patrick gets the ball, the Bulls can just run down and help him. And that's a great tribute to what Phil Jackson has done for this team.
Phil Jackson, a 13-year NBA player, 11 of those years in a New York Knicks uniform. Knicks drafted him in the 2nd round back in 1967.
Bulls have put together a great coaching staff. We got Jimmy Clemens, who played at Ohio State, but he also played with Phil when they were with the Knicks. And Tex Winter was at Northwestern. He's been, just one of the great coaches, as well as John Bach, who was a head coach at Golden State.
Gerald Wilkins comes off the pick and hits the jumper. Under 4 minutes now, 106-95, Bulls by 11. Let's see the Knicks' intensity on defense now. See what happens. Cartwright pass goes awry. The whistle goes against 2.
That's Charles Oakley. The pass didn't necessarily go awry. Charles Oakley had a little bit of a grab to keep Horace from getting the ball.
That's number 5 on Oakley, who was a darling of these Bulls fans here for a couple of years.
Kenny Walker for Charles Oakley.
And Kenny Walker will spell Oakley here. Walker with 14 points this afternoon and 8 rebounds.
I expect the Knicks to get a little bit more active with Walker in the game. That's his strength, particularly on the defensive end. They've got to create some turnovers here. They've got 3:42 to go, and their time is to make their run now, or they don't give themselves a chance to win this one at all.
Bulls by 12. Ewing, quick to the basket.
But Greg, they moved the offense. Everybody was on one side of the court to give Patrick a one-on-one. And that's one of the few times they've done that and give Patrick a chance to score.
Bulls by 10. Jordan goes to work one-on-one, and now the double team for Walker. Cartwright for Paxson. Bulls by 12. Wilkins for 3 and a travel. Gerald did a little tippy toe over there on the far side.
Yeah, they were teeny tiny steps. Just Kersey, the official, was right there on it. Teeny tiny steps. Gerald thought they'd let you get away with that.
Pippen off the pick. Good shot. Good execution by the Bulls.
When you talk to the people at the Bulls, at this point, they feel that one person on the starting lineup that has to mature, that is coming to his own and mature, is Scottie Pippen. He's starting to become accountable on all ends of the court. His numbers in the rebounds, assists, and he's one of the steal leaders in the game, and he's really starting to come into his own.
Gerald Wilkins' 3 pulls New York to within 11. Paxson. And Jordan with the rebound. 10 rebounds on the day for Michael Jordan.
You can feel the intensity. People just waiting to see what Michael's going to do with the basketball.
Baseline, out, deflected. Here comes Strickland. Strickland to the far corner. Wilkins for 3 again, and hits it again. 2 straight 3-pointers by Gerald Wilkins, and it's 111 to 103. Under 2 minutes to play now. 21 for Gerald Wilkins. Bulls going to take some time off the clock.
They can afford to milk the clock. You got Michael and Scottie Pippen. These are guys that can create their own shot.
Shot clock now at 5. Cartwright back to Paxson. Loose ball. Strickland has it. Up ahead for Gerald Wilkins. Walker with the rebound. Kenny Walker. 111 to 105 and timeout on the court. With a minute 19 remaining in the game, the Knicks have closed to within 6 of the Chicago Bulls. We'll be back. Well, sometimes blowouts have a way of reversing themselves, and the Bulls' lead is now 6 points with a minute 19 to play, and you see the timeout situation. Chicago leads at 111 to 105.
Steve Jackson is a guy that I've known inadvertently or through channels for a while. He played with Ronnie Lee and Greg Ballard. Both used to play when he was at the University of Oregon, and he was a good player for him then. But what he's got to get his team to do now is to put some pressure on the Bulls, not allow them to get a shot attempt up here, and then get it down on the other end. And if they get a chance for a 3, you can take it, but I'm sure he would rather just get a good shot at the basket.
Overtime is not foreign to the Knicks. 3 of their last 8 games have gone to OT. And the Knicks trying to break a 6-game regular season losing streak here in Chicago Stadium. Jordan, far side. Cartwright, back top. Paxson. And Walker is going to commit the loose ball foul. And Michael Jordan comes up limping on the far side.
His 3rd penalty.
That's 3 on Kenny Walker. Horace Grant had the position, and Kenny Walker had to go over him to get to the ball.
Yeah, but I'm sure if you feel Jackson, you just kind of got your eye right here. Just out the corner of your eye, you're trying to kind of wonder, is he all right?
Come on, Mom.
.16 for Horace Grant.
Michael looks to be up and okay. But you're right, as I was looking, Phil Jackson definitely was keeping an eye on Michael, even though he's just trying to shoot.
113-105. 55 seconds left. Strickland on the drive. Ewing blocked by Pippen. Ewing again.
Patrick Ewing.
Again, a 6-point game. And again, the Bulls will slow it down. Jordan drives. Strickland with a good hand to knock it away. Tries to split the defense and is fouled.
Foul call on Michael Jordan. His 4th penalty.
Jordan draws his 4th. Jackson will go to the line.
Well, that time Michael got caught in the air, but going back on the other end, Mark Jackson did the right thing. I thought he was going to be able to find on the right was Gerald Wilkins. Gerald has made a couple 3-pointers, but Jackson took it to the basket, which you got to do. This way, the Knicks get a chance to score without time running off the clock.
26.6 remaining to be played. Jackson now has 13 points and a chance to cut the Chicago lead to 4. (113-109) and the full court pressure. Pippen to Jordan, who is fouled in the backcourt by Gerald Wilkins. Coming up next, the 6th annual AllMadden team, live from the Superdome in New Orleans.
Yeah, I'm sure John will have a couple surprises on that one for you. I could see you on the AllMadden team.
I could see me on the AllMadden team. Jordan 14 of 16 from the free throw line today. 15 for 17 now and 39 points. and make it 40 for Michael Jordan today. And a timeout on the floor with just under 22 seconds to play. 115, 109 Bulls.
Hi, everybody. Pat O'Brien in New York City. A program reminder that coming up, the 6th annual All-Madden team, John Madden and Pat Summerall are live down in New Orleans, getting ready to talk to you about that. Earlier today here on CBS, the Lakers beat Detroit 107-97. James Worthy with a big game. He had 31 points for the Lakers. And to get you up to date on other scores, Milwaukee beat Miami 127-101. Let's go back to Chicago and Greg and Quinn.
All right, Pat, and our Miller Lite player of the game this afternoon is, of course, Michael Jordan of the Chicago Bulls. On his behalf, Miller Lite will donate $1,000 to United Cerebral Palsy. Michael has spread things out quite nicely today. 4 3-pointers, 20 points in the first half, 20 more in the second half, a balanced game.
Yeah, I had to overrule you guys to get Michael in there.
21.9 to play in the game. Walker to Newman for 3. No good. Rebound shot is no good. And here comes Jordan. And this one is in the bag for the Bulls. And Jackson will foul Jordan.
Jackson.
And Stu Jackson did not like a decision that one of his guys made and is a little upset on the sidelines.
Well, what he didn't like was the shot that was taken by Johnny Newman. He had too much pressure on him. There were a lot of other places that Johnny might have been able to throw the ball to be able to get a wide open shot. Unfortunately, the shot was taken by Johnny Newman. It just didn't go in.
That's 17 straight free throws for Michael Jordan and 41 points.
You know, that's what really kills you about Michael. He's such a great shooter that you think, all right, maybe I'll foul him and he'll go to the line and lose his rhythm. Well, obviously making 17 in a row, he gets his rhythm at the line.
And timeout for the New York Knicks with 11.7 to play. And an 8-point difference. I want to remind you, Meredith Vieira debuts on 60 Minutes with a story that animal lovers find appalling. Watch 60 Minutes tonight. That'll be followed by Murder, She Wrote. And then it's the CBS Sunday movie, The Operation, a murder mystery starring Joe Penny and Lisa Hartman. That's all tonight here on CBS. 11.7 to play here in Chicago. We'll be back for the final seconds. But right now, take it back to New York and Pat O'Brien. Pat?
All right, Greg, thank you very much. On one of our other monitors here, I can see John Madden down in New Orleans getting ready for his 6th annual All-Madden team. That's coming up next year on CBS. Let's complete the scores for you this afternoon. Georgia Tech and Virginia, 66-65. Now, Georgia Tech on top by 1. They're in the second half, closing moments of that game. In the National Hockey League All-Star game, Wales beat Campbell 12-7. Mario Lemieux with 4 goals. He was voted MVP there in Pittsburgh in front of his hometown fans. Ken Hatfield was named head coach of Clemson today. Hatfield resigned as coach of Arkansas. He replaces Danny Ford, who resigned earlier this week. And in the Australian Open, John McEnroe was disqualified from the Open for abusive language. McEnroe was the first player to be disqualified under new rules. And that wraps it up from New York. Let's go back to the Madhouse on Madison in Chicago. Greg?
All right, OB. Phil Jackson about to put win number 26 in the books for himself and the Chicago Bulls. And the Bulls, having won 14 straight here at home, about to go 16-1 on the year here in Chicago Stadium.
Well, you know what that does for the Bulls, and particularly first-year coach Phil Jackson, is it puts him in a good position for the all-star coach, because with this, assuming Chicago continues, that means that both the Knicks and Detroit lost today.
Chicago. Johnny Newman dribbles the ball out of bounds. And this will do it. Scottie Pippen will dribble the remaining seconds away. And that's it. The Knicks have lost 7 straight here in Chicago during the regular season. The Bulls win 15 in a row at home and go to 26-13. For Quinn Buckner and Pat O'Brien, I'm Greg Gumbel saying so long from Chicago Stadium, where the final score is Chicago 117 and the Knicks 109. The NBA on CBS is a presentation of CBS Sports.